Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. When transfer portal season started, we talked about on this channel how we needed to be patient. We needed to trust this coaching staff. We needed to trust Josh Heupel with what they wanted to do in the portal. And, sometimes we like to jump on here and we like to talk about the locker room chemistry. We like to talk about the culture at Tennessee and what Josh Heupel has been able to do in just 3 years. But then when the transfer portal opens and all these 5-star, 4-star prospects start flooding in from places like Alabama or Georgia, we lose our minds, we freak out, we panic, we say, why aren't we offering this guy? Why aren't we offering that guy? Sometimes you got to trust Josh Heupel and what he's done, and what he has been able to do is add another commitment via the transfer portal, and that is the Tulane wide receiver Christopher Brazzell has now made it official. He is on his way to Rocky Top. Now, if you don't really keep up with the portal, you just saw commitment, you got excited, you clicked on the video, wanted to see, is this guy any good? Is this a guy that I should get excited about? Well, let's take a look at this tweet that came out prior to the commitment. This is from Hayes Fawcett. Says here, former Tulane wide receiver Chris Brazzell tells On3 Sports that he has heard from these 38 schools since entering the transfer portal. Goes on to say here, the 6'5", 195-pound wide receiver had 44 catches, 711 yards, and 5 touchdowns this year. He will also have 3 years of eligibility remaining, and that 3 years is something that excites me. When you look at the wide receiver room going into 2024, what does that room really look like? Do you have Brew McCoy back? I think that's the big question. Ultimately, does he elect to come back to Tennessee for that COVID year, that super senior season? But if he does, that's best case scenario. Brew McCoy decides to come back. Now you've got some competition. You can put Chris Brazzell on the opposite side. You've got Chaz Nimrod over there. You got Caleb Webb. Where does Dante Thornton fit into this wide receiver room? He's a guy that when he transferred to Tennessee had a lot of hype, a lot of buzz, a lot of excitement, didn't really live up to that hype. But he was starting to show you what he could do. When they moved him from the slot to the outside, you started to see some flashes of the potential from Dante Thornton. Do they leave him in that outside spot? Because when you look at the incoming freshman, Mike Matthews, 5-star wide receiver, that's a guy that can make an impact in the slot. Braylon Staley, speedster, a burner, also plays that slot behind Squirrel White. So I think when you look to the future, when you look at depth, it's good to see 3 years of eligibility there, because I think that builds that depth in the wide receiver room. But again, what type of talent is he? Well, let's look at some of the 38 schools that reached out to Chris Brazzell as he entered the transfer portal. It's a who's who. It's the college football playoff contenders. It's Georgia. It's Michigan, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida. You can see all the teams. Florida State, Washington, everybody. Everybody was interested in the 6'5", 195-pound wide receiver. But why? Why did he choose Tennessee? What does he bring to the table? We're going to get into it. We're going to break it down. But as always, I need you guys to do me a favor and smash that thumbs up just below this video. It is quick, it is free, it is easy, it helps the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if you are new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, welcome. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media. We don't break news. We're not talking at you. We are talking with you right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. If you enjoy that, make sure you subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop a video. We're going to be talking recruiting. We're going to be talking portal. We talk spring camp, fall camp. We talk college football every single day of the year right here on the Talkin VAWLS Network. So make sure you're dialed in so you don't miss any of that. But let's jump into it and talk about Chris Brazzell. Again, 6'5", 195 pounds. He was a 3-star prospect coming out of high school, but you can see there in the transfer portal, 247 Sports has him as a 4-star transfer, top 50 player, top 10 wide receiver. Here's what 247 Sports had to say. Said the 6'5", 215-pound Brazzell was one of the top targets for Tulane star quarterback Michael Pratt. The redshirt freshman had 44 catches, 711 yards, and 5 touchdowns. He visited schools such as Tennessee and Houston, while also garnering interest from programs like Washington. This is from a Power 5 source. Goes on to say, good player. Tall, long, more athletic than you think. Probably question the top-end speed, but tall, long, and productive, and I think he has improved as the season went on. So I've seen 6'3", I've seen 6'4", I've seen 6'5", I've seen 195, I've seen 205, and I've seen 215. But the bottom line is he's tall, he's long, and he is athletic. And one of the things that stands out to me when I watch the highlights from his 2023 season is what he can do in the red zone. And first instinct, you see 6'5", oh, he's a guy that's going to go up and get the 50-50 ball, and he can do that. One of his touchdowns, 50-50 ball, goes up, makes a one-handed catch, spectacular, ESPN top 10, top play. But then on the flip side of that, he's versatile. The different route combinations that he runs in the red zone just gives you different looks. And I think, Tennessee struggled in the red zone in 2023. Call it what it is. Is it the wide receivers? Is it the quarterback play? Is it the play calling? I don't know, but I think Chris Brazzell gives you a little something down there in the red zone, and I think he is going to be a weapon for Nico Iamaleava in 2024. Now, he visited Tennessee about a week after the transfer portal opened. He also spent a lot of time with Nico. When asked about the quarterback position, he said, I feel good about it. He said, Nico, you probably got one of the best quarterbacks in the nation right now, so with him being the anchor of the ship and me being me, I feel like the sky is the limit. He goes on to say, coming off the visit, said he enjoyed it, said beautiful, beautiful city, beautiful state. I like the coaches. Wide receivers coach Kelsey Pope, I feel like is going to really develop me. Goes on to talk about Neyland. There's nothing like Neyland Stadium, and that's what Chris Brazzell says. He says they have a beautiful stadium, probably the best stadium I've been to in my entire life, so I like it. Then he goes on to talk about development, right? Says they've done a lot with good receivers that have come through. He says, obviously, they've had Jalen Hyatt, the Biletnikoff Award winner last year, the best offense in the country last year. I feel like that speaks for itself. Every receiver that comes through here is able to perform and go to the league, so their resume speaks for itself. Now, what was missing from 2022 to 2023? Is the quarterback play of Nico Iamaleava going to bring this offense back to where it belongs? Because the difference a year makes between losing Hendon Hooker, adding Joe Milton at that quarterback position, this offense didn't put up those type of numbers. But I think if you can continue to develop guys and continue to put guys like Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, Hendon Hooker, Darnell Wright, Byron Young, continue to put guys into the league, the sky is the limit. You're going to continue to rebuild the University of Tennessee. But guess what? He's excited about Nico. Just like everybody on this football team is excited about Nico. I think that played a huge part in bringing back your offensive line, your defensive line. We'll see what Brew McCoy elects to do. But I think a big part of that is they know what they've got coming back at the quarterback position. This is what his coaches had to say. This was going into the 2023 season. So this was prior to that breakout, 44 catches, 711 yards, and 5 touchdowns. This was prior to that. Says, observing preseason practice, this comes from CrescentCitySports.com. Says it's easy to see that Chris Brazzell may be one of the most gifted wideouts to ever come through Yulman Stadium. Says he has a high ceiling, brings a lot to the table. The redshirt freshman from Midland, Texas, has put on weight since signing in 2022 and has reaped the benefits of his work with strength and conditioning coach Kurt Hester. This is a quote here. Says, Chris Brazzell is getting better every day. This is from offensive coordinator Slade Nagel. He's worked hard the offseason, the summer. It's changed his body. Nagel said Brazzell weighed somewhere in the ballpark of 190, up from nearly 175 last season. Showing flashes throughout the spring and fall, Brazzell has yet to show it in a game at Tulane. One of his biggest moments was his touchdown reception that was called back during the spring game. This is the quote from the offense coordinator. It goes on to say he's got loads of ability and he's showing up every day. He says he's got the ability to make plays, so we've been pleased with him, looking forward to him keeping on an upward trajectory and having a good season. Says Brazzell's noticed a major difference in his game after working to build up his frame and believes it's established a new level of trust for both himself and the coaching staff. This is Brazzell speaking here. It says definitely have improved that aspect. I believe I was around 182. That had to be my max coming into the fall. Right now I weigh in at 194. So again, now it sounds like he's even up from that all the way up to what the 247 Sports article said he was up to 215. So what I like about that, the reason I read that article to you going into the 2023 season, he was a guy that needed to put in work. And he put in that work. And that sounds familiar to Jalen Hyatt. If you go back to prior to his Biletnikoff award-winning season, he was a guy that was asking Velus Jones, say, what do I need to do to get to that next level? And now you're seeing that work ethic from Chris Brazzell, and you're also seeing the big-time teams that were interested in the 6'5" wide receiver. He doesn't show fear, man. Like I said, he'll go up and get a 50-50 ball. He'll hit the fade route. He'll run a route over the middle and go catch a football. I like his game. I'm excited to see what he looks like once we get to spring camp, into fall camp. Does he contribute in 2024? But the bottom line is he is in the boat. He is committed to the University of Tennessee. What are your thoughts? Jump into the comment section. Let me know. As always, smash the thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the Talkin VAWLS merchandise. The link is in the description, but you can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Also, shout out to the members of the channel. You like the content, the videos, the live streams, the community, whatever it is you like about this channel, you want to support it, keep us moving forward. Hit that join button down below. As little as $1 a month. You keep the lights on around here, we would greatly appreciate it. But that is going to do it for this one. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.